Welcome to your safe space, the podcast your partner, friends, parents, whoever thinks it's dirty. Don't have time to read books? Want to understand all the jokes in the TikToks? We got you, fam. We're the Spice Traders, and we deal in spicy books. I'm Katie, and I need it to make sense.
I'm Liz, and I'm hypercritical.
Before we get to today's episode, we want to encourage you to check out our Patreon, where we publish extra episodes every other week, as well as ad-free versions of our regular feed episodes. Also, any series we read past the first book, all that coverage is Patreon only, so think series like ACOTAR, Fourth Wing, Guild. Anyway, we really appreciate the support and encouragement to continue doing something we love and sharing it with you.
Thanks in advance for checking that out. As always, we start this episode with 3 things. First is a generic trigger warning. You can find specific triggers for this book in our show notes, so please check those out. We also use foul language and talk a lot about sex. If you have sensitivity to either of those things, our podcast probably isn't for you.
Second, our episodes talk about books, the whole book, nothing but the book, so help me goddess. If you don't want something spoiled, don't listen to this episode.
And finally, we acknowledge that a good book can hit you at the wrong time. Our views discussed in our episodes are our opinion, and we don't want to diminish the work or the talents of the authors in our community. That said, we have some notes.
So Liz, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. This was published in 2021, and it is the first in what I think is an ongoing series, the Adrian Isolde series, currently with 2 books and 2 novellas. This book is 391 pages long, and that's a MIDI for us. Now, I was so gently corrected on the cover, but I do need to talk about the cover. The cover has a person on it. I thought the person was Isolde, and I was mad about it because it didn't make sense. But I have been gently corrected that the person on the cover is likely Adrian instead.
Yep.
So we get a real person on the cover. But it does that thing where it's a real person, but it's really stylized, and we only see like their lips down. We don't get a full face, which I don't mind that. It's when we get a whole face that it gets creepy to me. So now that I know this is Adrian, I have to reframe all of this. And I feel so dumb because it's a man, and he's wearing his like gold and black filigree jacket, which he's totally described as wearing like at least thrice in the first part of the book. But it's a man with a bloody sword. He's not distinctly vampiric on the cover, I do have to say. I didn't really realize this was a vampire novel until I started it, because I don't read the synopses. I just go into these blind. I mean, I read the synopsis when we picked it, but I lost it. Also, I think when I found this series and when I've heard of this series, my brain superimposes Tristan and Isolde instead of Adrian and Isolde. Mm-hmm. And so I think I thought it was like gonna be Greek, especially because Scarlett St. Clair did the Hades Persephone. So I thought we were going, is Tristan and Isolde Greek? Am I making that up?
I thought it was Celtic.
I thought it was going to be folklore-y. That's not a folklore. It doesn't matter. It's not Tristan. It's a whole other story. I bring that up to say that it's not distinctly like vampires. Like, he's got a bloody sword, but that's the only thing that is like violence on here. Also, it looks like he has 2 swords, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think one of them's like a scabbard. Is that what they call it?
Yes, and I think so too.
But yeah, I don't find the cover with the real person offensive either, because it is like so almost abstract, I would say.
Yeah, and then there is a second cover that is just like black with 2 crossed swords and roses, which is even less. It's even more inoffensive. Like, that one doesn't really stand out to me at all. I mean, it's pretty, but neither of them are offensive. They're pretty. I like them. I have no complaints.
Very innocuous looking. I like it.
The complaints I had are null and void because that's not Isolde.
That's a man, baby.
That's a man, baby.
Yeah, I think my only complaint about the one with like the crossed swords is that one and then the sequel look pretty markedly different, in my opinion. And so, like, I wish that they were a little bit more congruous. But the one with him on the first one and then her on the second one, those match, and that makes me happy.
Oh, those are really beautiful together. But you're right. The second one, it's fully different colors and vibes. And those seem like, if I saw both of those on a shelf, I would think they weren't the same series.
Exactly. They just look like they don't go together.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. Anyway, we digress.
Right. Anyway, I super digressed on that. I apologize for my 10-minute confusion. So, Katie, why don't you kick it off?
Sure.
Struggle lesson here.
Like most of her other books, this one is also on Kindle Unlimited, which is great for those of you who
We love that.
celebrate, I guess. We're going to split this book into 2 parts. And so this episode is only going to cover part 1, and that'll be chapters 1 through 11. And then when we cover part 2, at the end of that is when we're going to do our rating. So stay tuned for that in 2 weeks. Before we get into the book, we don't get a whole lot of preamble, which I appreciate. We do get a map, which is fine. It's a good map. North is where it's supposed to be. Everything looks like it's at the right scale. And it illustrates the world that we're in, which is Cordova and the 9 houses. So that becomes useful if you're into maps. I'm not. I didn't feel like I needed the map, but I'm glad to have it, I'll say.
Yeah, I like a well-drawn map, but I also didn't feel like it was super necessary for this book. But it's great.
Cool.
I like when north is north, and that's really the only thing I look at in maps now is that north is oriented north, and that the scale looks reasonable.
Right. Yeah. This book is a little bit political because we're talking about conquering different kingdoms. And so if you're interested in where all those kingdoms are in relation with each other, like the map is useful. I didn't need it. But
no. Also, we don't really go to a lot of other places. We just talk about it.
Right.
At least as far as I am in the book.
I wonder how many more of those kingdoms we'll see in book 2. So.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume a lot if he wants to conquer the world.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So we get into the book and we're immediately at 100 because our protagonist, Princess Isolde, tells us that her father's kingdom is about to be invaded by a bunch of vampires. This army is led by the Blood King, who has a very notorious reputation as being pretty ruthless. Isolde has snuck out along with the captain of the guard, a dude named Alec Killian, to get a closer look at this encampment. She's interested, right? She's like, what is this? What is so special about these dudes that everybody just falls before them? So Alec, or Killian as she calls him, is not stoked about this and makes it pretty obvious that he's not happy about it. Isolde tells us that she's pretty over anything that Killian has to say and the way that he treats her because he feels entitled to her. She tells us, quote, "When Killian did not feel like he could handle me, he defaulted to using the threat of my father, and he wondered why I didn't want to sleep with him anymore." Oof.
Killian gave me big Dane vibes from Iron Flamme. Like, you could just be a friend. It's okay, buddy.
Right. Like,
but
it's
he's
not
worse.
that serious.
Kind of. It's not that serious.
Worse.
And
because, like, so Killian and Isolde actually slept together, whereas Dane and Violet never did. But it's similar in that, like, Dane feels entitled to, like, touch Violet. Like, Killian feels the same way about Isolde.
Yeah. And just because they had a tryst does not mean they are anything. And I like how blunt Isolde is about that to him and to us in her inner monologue.
Yeah, I like it too. She's a very confident protagonist, which I appreciate.
Yes, we'll get more into her, but I do want to say it's really nice to read a book about a princess specifically, or like arranged marriage type situation, and have her be strong and not just have tiny little lady arms that like can't hold a dagger.
Yeah, exactly. And I also appreciate that
nice.
she's a little bit older. I think she's 25. I don't remember when we get this information, but she's not like she has a
17.
fully formed frontal cortex. I know we say that a lot, but it's important.
It matters. And I also liked that she was a little older too.
Yeah. Not that 25 is old. You know what I'm saying.
No, because 25 seems very young, but she's older than our usual like 18-year-old protagonist. Like,
right.
You only made them adults so you could write them having sex. Let's be real.
That's the one. So the fact that Isolde is out of the castle at all at this point is unique because ever since the vampires showed up, her father has begged her to stay like hidden away because she's too important to him. And between that and what she thinks will happen to the people of her kingdom, Isolde feels this huge responsibility to find a happy ending or like a peaceful resolution to this potential invasion. So they watch the camp, and Isolde is kind of astonished that it looks so pedestrian. Like, yeah, they're vampires, but they just look like people milling around, not like this horde of undead that she was expecting.
Yeah, they're like playing cards and shit like regular people.
Right. She's like, what the fuck is happening here? So Killian's company eventually grates on her so much that she ditches him and goes out on her own. But it's not long before she's intercepted by a creature/animal called a striga. And strigas are essentially humans who died from blood plague and then rose from the dead again and only desire now to eat human flesh. So kind of like a fast zombie.
Creepy.
Very creepy. She fights and kills the striga, but she's wounded in the process with a slash across her chest. It's not a mortal wound. It's just, she seems to have the opinion that this is more annoying than anything else.
Yeah, she's like, God damn it, now I have to go to the healer, and then I'm going to get in trouble for being by myself, and I can't hide this because it could get infected. She's just bothered by it.
Right. So as she's catching her breath and kind of mourning the fact that she's going to have to out herself for going out without permission, the air changes, and she realizes that she's not alone. She turns around and comes face to face with a vampire, and they clash swords a little bit, but she's distracted by how attracted she is to this man. He's described as being like a vampire, right? But he's got long blonde hair, and it's not giving anything away to say that this guy looks like the guy on the front of this book.
I did not know that until I was told 20 minutes ago.
I love you so much.
Thank you for accepting me.
So this feeling that she has toward this dude is electric and it's immediate. And so they've stopped fighting, but they're kind of having this back and forth. And she tries to leave several times, but she finds herself rooted to the spot and begins to wonder if that's his influence or her own dumbfoundedness. So in this conversation, he gives away nothing, but he does end up licking the wound on her chest and healing her. And then he like flits away off into the night. And then she tells us, quote, "Alone, I began to shake. I'd survived an encounter with a vampire who had tasted my blood. And the worst part about it was that he was right. I did like it."
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did. As she walks back to the palace, she's incredibly distracted by how much she aches for a physical release after her encounter with this dude. Alone in her room, she tries to masturbate, but she's interrupted by her lady's maid, Nadia. And we learn that Nadia is kind of like a stand-in mother for Isolde because Isolde's own mother died when she was in childbirth. Nadia is there to help prepare her for the arrival of the Blood King later that night, and so Isolde doesn't get any relief at all. Poor thing.
I know. So Nadia, get out of here. I'm busy.
So as Nadia helps Isolde get ready, we learn that Nadia's values are quite different from Isolde's. Nadia believes that a woman is useless without a husband and kids, despite the fact that she herself never married and never had kids.
Also, I do want to point out, because I did the math, we find out that Nadia's been with Isolde her whole life, but Nadia was like, we know how old Nadia is. She's only like 14 years older. So she's only like 30 something.
Yeah, she's like in age closer to a like older sister, but she acts very maternalistically.
Yeah.
So she pushes Isolde to marry Killian, but it's obviously not something that Isolde wants to entertain. She's just like, I don't even know why you keep bringing this up. He's not the one for me.
I don't like that guy. He was just there when I wanted to get my rocks off.
Right. And Isolde's whole thing is like, she's the only like child of her father, and she's fully expecting to be queen, and she wants to do it by herself.
Yeah, and she tells us somewhere in here that her father's never mentioned like marriage to her. He's not pushed it. It's not like you have to make alliances. None of that we would usually get with a princess.
Exactly. So Isolde meets with her father before their meeting with the Blood King, and Killian is also there. And in this discussion, her father reprimands her for losing her guard in the forest. Oops. It's clear that he's on edge because the vampires are there. And we learn during this discussion that their plan is for them to surrender to the Blood King to spare bloodshed for their people. So they go into the throne room and receive King Adrian. As soon as this dude rounds the corner, Isolde's like, motherfucker, because it's the dude that she ran into in the forest.
Which I gotta say, who could have seen this coming?
Who could have known? Like, come on.
I was like, of course. Right. As soon as he showed up the first time, I was like, that's the Blood King.
That's the
Got
guy.
it.
Yeah, that's the dude.
I don't know why he's allowed to wander alone through the forest, but that's fine.
He can literally kill anything with like a blink of his eye, so...
That's true. And
so
does.
it does on the regular. The conversation turns quickly to terms of surrender, and King Adrian agrees to spare the people of this kingdom if he can marry Isolde. Of course, Killian and Isolde's father immediately refuse, but she speaks for herself and asks Adrian, quote, "If you wanted a wife, why did you wait until now to ask for my hand?" And Adrian tells her, quote, "I did not know I wanted one until today," which I think is one of my favorite lines in a book ever.
I think so too. That really got me. He's got a lot of good lines like that. It's probably one of my favorite like male leads we've had in a while, and that line was just perfect.
Yeah, like I know we've enjoyed Scarlett St. Clair's writing before, but I really enjoy the characters in this book. Like they are so pithy.
They're so pithy, and they're also like intelligent and quick, and she's doing a really good job like breadcrumbing us in a lot of things. So I have predictions, but I don't know if they're going to be true.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear your predictions. So Killian tries to bodily remove Isolde from the conversation, and Adrian makes it very clear that that is not acceptable behavior. Thank you. Eventually, both Killian and the king have to admit that this is something that makes sense, and they agree to King Adrian's terms. The king asks Adrian to vow to protect his daughter, and Adrian readily does so.
No problem.
After this meeting, Isolde asks for time alone with King Adrian, and once they have that, she asks him questions like, what does he intend for her to be? Will he take more than one wife, etc.? And he tells her, quote, "You assume I want a wife, but I came for a queen."
Which is also such a good line.
Just like, okay. Like, I just, she has such a mental block against this guy because he's a vampire. I'm not sure I would have that much resolve, because I feel like after he said like those two things to me, I would just be like, what do you want? I'll do anything for you.
I'll do anything. Just, I am a puddle of jelly. Thank you.
Right. It just became pudding on the floor.
I keep like internally screaming at her for where I am in the book, and we'll get to it, but I'm just like, just do the thing. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I promise
you're gonna love it.
Just do it.
So later, she meets with her father and Killian is obviously irate and can't control his emotions like a man-child. But her father just tells Isolde, quote, "You are the hope for our kingdom." She takes that to mean that by being sold into marriage, she's ensured the safety of her people, but it quickly becomes obvious that her father, Killian, and others expect her to get close enough to King Adrian to kill him. No pressure.
Which, like, she's told us repeatedly in her inner monologue that it takes like 5 soldiers to take down one vampire, but they all just think she can do it. I get because she can get him in a vulnerable position, but no pressure.
Yeah, like, can you give me a minute? Like, also, what... I appreciate her perspective of like, oh, I ensured your safety. Like, I take that at face value that like nothing's going to change for you. So like, why do you care?
Exactly. Why does it matter so much? Just a pride thing? Probably. Killian
tries to convince Isolde that she's got a choice still and that she can just marry him instead of King Adrian. But she tells him unequivocally that she would never marry Killian, even if she wasn't in this situation.
She's so firm with him, and I don't think this is the last time they talk about it, or he tries to talk about it, but she's just like, listen, if you were the last man alive on Earth, I still would not marry you. What do you not understand?
Big Elizabeth Bennet vibes, for sure.
Yes! Like, she's doing nothing to lead this man on.
No, just like, please stop.
I am uninterested.
There is also a point in this book where this dynamic changes like on a dime, and I cannot wait to talk to you about it because I do not trust it.
Oh, I'm not there yet.
Yeah, no, it happens like right at the very end.
Okay, and I think I'm like 67% through. Like they just they're on their shopping spree in the town.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
So it's clear that Killian wants to expel some of this energy, and he threatens to kill Adrian for Isolde, but she tells him to stand down. She's like, don't do that. I don't want that to happen. What the fuck are you talking about? But she believes that he's going to go to that camp anyway and try to get in trouble, so she follows him. One of the guards at the castle gates agrees to let her go after Killian, but insists on accompanying her, because King's orders or whatever. But once they're in the woods, she loses him. She ends up in the vampire camp surrounded by 3 other vampires, Isaac, Miha, and Soren. And we quickly come to understand that these are like the close confidants of Adrian. They try to detain Isolde, but she stabs one of them. I think it's Soren or Isaac. Like,
I think it's
in the
Soren.
shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah. She's got these cool, like, bracelet things that she hides under her sleeves that have, like, daggers in them so she can just, like, think and, like, stab people, and it's badass.
It's like Spider-Man, but instead of a web, it's like a knife.
Yeah, and it's so cool. So she just stabs
badass.
Soren, like, in the neck.
Right.
She's really hardcore.
Which, obviously, he's a vampire. It doesn't hurt him that much. He's fine. But before things can escalate, Adrian shows up, and Isolde's like, we gotta talk. Can I just have, like, 5 seconds of your time, please? Because
BT dubs, I'm your fiance, so can we...
It's not so much in this moment that she's worried about Killian. It's that she's worried that if Adrian kills Killian because Killian's being a fucking doofus, that's going to cause retribution in either her father or her people and break the truce. And she's like, I did not just sell myself into marriage for you to fuck this up for me.
Exactly. And I can't talk to Killian because he's irrational, so I have to talk to Adrian.
Right. He's the only one that's an adult in this conversation, like me.
Yes.
So when they're alone, she asks him to spare Killian's life. Despite the fact that she doesn't love him, like I said, she feels responsible. And she knows that Killian can be rash.
There's this line, I don't think she says it out loud, but Adrian asks, like, why should I spare him? Or, like, why do you care about him? And her inner monologue is like, because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
He's too dumb for his own good.
Right. It's like caring for a dog. Like, it literally doesn't know any better.
Right. And, like, I don't want to get in trouble for something this doofus does.
Right. So Adrian agrees to that, but it's in this conversation that we learn that Isolde has this very visceral fear of fire, but she doesn't really have a reason to be so. It's not like she was burned when she was younger or something like that. So just keep that in the back of your brain hole.
Do we find out why?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Oh, all of my predictions just changed.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What were your predictions before?
Okay. All right. So, all right. I didn't know about the fire. I had no prediction about the fire thing that was irrelevant to me. I thought that her mom, like, died in a fire, and I forgot that we did find out it was childbirth. I just assumed the fire was related to her mom. But, and I'm jumping way ahead, but I got to tell you now, she gets these, like, dreams of, like, a younger Adrian, right? And, like, them being together and comfortable. And so in my head, I was like, oh, they were together when he was mortal. And he's been, like, looking for her in, like, a reincarnation thing. I think she's the fucking witch who was burned. The witch that he's looking for. And he's found her.
You're close.
And she was, okay, good.
You're like really in, like, you're not out the house. You're, like, next door.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Deal. Mm-hmm. I'll take it. Okay. Cool.
So Adrian walks Isolde back to the palace, and on the way, they run into Killian. There's a bit of, like, posturing here where Adrian makes it clear that Killian putting his hands on Isolde without her permission is unacceptable.
He bruised her.
Yeah. And I love Adrian says something like, he's like, do you think I would hurt my wife? And Killian's like, yeah, I mean, you're a monster. And he's like, okay, we'll let the bruises speak for themselves, shall we?
I love that.
Yeah.
Which one of us has actually hurt her? It's not me.
Yeah. Look with your special eyes. When Adrian bids them adieu, he says the words, quote, all the stars in the sky. And Isolde tells us, quote, the words made my heart race, and I halted as an answer that was not my own formed in my mind. Are not as bright as my love for you. Which is such a sweet thing to say. Oh my God.
I know. I really liked it. It's so cute.
So the next day is Isolde's wedding day. As she's getting ready, Nadia gives her a knife. And it's clear that there's an expectation that comes along with this knife that Isolde use it to kill Adrian. Before the ceremony, Adrian shows up and wants to see Isolde, so Nadia leaves. They end up making out a little bit after saying things like, I hate you, and I don't want you, and you're a monster. And Isolde can't help but be confused by the warring emotions inside of her. On the one hand, she's strongly attracted and intrigued by this man. And on the other hand, she's got this deeply ingrained hatred for vampires.
Yeah, her prejudice is heavy.
Yeah. Adrian leaves, and soon her father comes to visit her as well. He gives her a music box, and the music box plays one of the songs that her mother used to sing before she was born. And I really like that her mom has such a prominent role in her life. It becomes important kind of later. But like the book goes so far as to like put the lyrics for this song, and I just wonder if that's ever going to come back, because it doesn't come back in this book.
Okay, I was wondering about that too, because it seemed like a lot of detail to add if it wasn't relevant.
Yeah. But maybe it was just color. I'm fine with color.
I'm fine with color too. I liked having it because we get lyrics later from another song, and I like having that.
Yeah. So the time has come, and Isolde walks down the aisle and remarks inwardly to us, quote, I have been to other weddings, both royal and non-royal, and none had been this morose.
Well, she doesn't outwardly say it, but she seems at multiple points like disappointed that her wedding's not a celebration, even though she herself doesn't want to celebrate. But she'll make a lot of comments about like how it's different, and I think she's a little bit sad about it.
Oh, I definitely think she is, right? Like she had this narrative in her head about how her life was going to go. She was going to become queen. She was going to like rule shit. People were going to love her. And now like all of that is not happening, or happening very differently than she envisioned it to be.
Yeah.
So she feels like the people around her see the ceremony of like her being sent to her death rather than a rejoicing that their lives were spared, right? But all of that is kind of emptied out of her brain when she sees Adrian, and she's again struck by how handsome he is and how much she's attracted to him. They do a hand fasting ceremony, and after they're married, Adrian kind of makes an off-color joke that makes Isolde really mad. Adrian immediately recognizes it and apologizes, and Isolde's like, wow, that was like very sincere, and also super not how other men treat me in my life.
Like I didn't think they were capable of apologizing and meaning it,
or treating me like an equal with feelings that matter.
It's crazy.
Oof. Yeah.
Big oof.
So she goes back to her room and prepares for her wedding night. When Adrian appears, they set some ground rules.
I want to say something here because it freaked me out. So they don't go to her room. They go to like some rando visitor's room.
Yeah.
And they stay, and I'm only pointing it out because it seemed so gross to me. Like they changed the bedding so the bedding is clean. Everything else is covered in dust. And like, ew. I know this was a rush wedding, but like you have servants. You are in a palace. They couldn't like dust.
They couldn't find one person to go in there with a cloth.
Yeah.
Really?
I was just like, oh, it made me think of, was it Great Expectations, Miss Havisham, and just like,
oh God, yeah.
Living. That's what I was picturing. I was like, oh, for your wedding night? I don't care if the sheets are clean. That room sounds gross.
Yeah, we're going to my room or whatever. Like, yeah.
I literally
forgot
anywhere
about
else.
that. It's gross.
It was gross. I did not like it.
So when Adrian appears, they set some ground rules. Isolde starts by saying that she knows that when they first met in the woods, he drew words from her mouth against her will through magic. And that if he ever does that again, she will, quote, cut off your balls and shove them down your throat.
Nice.
Noted. When they start to get hot and heavy, she brings out a blade and shoves it into Adrian's side, hoping to kill him and make everybody around her happy. This obviously deflates the mood, and Adrian leaves. By the way, he's fine. He just pulls out the knife and immediately heals.
Also, like, this is just fan service, right? She knows that stabbing him in the side isn't going to kill him. Like,
yeah, it really does feel
she knows
like
how to kill a vampire. Yeah, like she's just doing it to be like, look, I did it, guys. I tried.
Right, exactly. Like if you were really going to do it, cut off his head, right? That's how you do it? Or
And she was
Stab
even
him in the
talking
heart.
about that. She's like, my knife is strong enough to cut through bone. And then she just kind of like stabs him in the like
Right.
kidney. And he's totally fine, but miffed. And he stands up and she's like, where are you going? And he's like, I am not going to continue the foreplay since you just stabbed me.
Right. Like the mood is kind of broken. I need some space.
Right. See ya.
See ya. So she falls asleep alone, but she wakes up later in Adrian's back and obviously over the stabbing incident, both physically and mentally.
It's just fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine.
I do want to point out that the transition between like him leaving and then her waking up was not very smooth. Like I feel like I'm being nitpicky here. I'd literally texted Liz that I think this is my favorite perfect book. That was not smooth. It was like one paragraph, oh, he left. Next paragraph, I woke up in a cold sweat. I was like, girl, when did you fall asleep?
Yeah. Okay. My other nitpicky thing right here, because agreed, this book is prime, but this whole night and the next day, I don't really understand the timing. Like they get married in the evening and does the sun kill vampires? Because I'm confused. Because when they go to their land, there's like a red sky and they're out during the day. But I'm just confused. Because like, okay, they get married in the evening. They have their wedding night. It's a long wedding night. Like he leaves, he comes back. They do the thing. The next morning, they're like planning to leave the next day. He gets like an hour to leave and then they're leaving and it's nighttime again. I'm like, is this all the same night or has a whole day passed?
I think a whole day has passed, and I look. It's been a minute since I actually read this book, but I don't think we get a clear understanding of whether the sun actually kills vampires or if they're just like super weak or something.
Yeah, I wish I
But
understood
yeah.
that more.
Most of the time, like when they travel, they're traveling at night.
Yeah, and they stop at dawn, and I feel like there's a one-liner in the beginning that's like something to the effect of like the sun. I messed up the paraphrasing and that messes up the meaning, but it was like the sun took care of them, but turns out the sun doesn't kill magic. But I was like, okay, but does it kill vampires?
Right.
So
Yeah.
the timing's weird.
The timing's weird.
Just right here, it's really weird. Later, I don't notice it as much, but you're right. This transition is very strange.
Yeah. So Adrian's over the stabbing. They consummate their marriage.
It's
and
great.
it's great. And it's prime peak Scarlett St. Clair smut. Like just no fucking notes.
Nope. And we get a lot of it. It's great.
We get a lot of it. It's great.
We get a lot
So
of
good.
it. For characters that ostensibly don't like each other, they have a lot of sex.
They do have a lot of sex. It's not quite ritual levels of like, we're going to go over here and have sex. We're going to have this fight and then have sex, but it's close.
It's close. At
Yeah.
least during this upcoming travel montage, it's a lot.
Yeah. I also love, and it's giving nothing away, but I also love that like every time they have sex, everybody makes a point to tell them that they heard them.
I love that too. And it sounds like it's extreme. Like it's not just vampire hearing. It's no, you are loud.
You are
Humans
loud.
also are hearing you.
And she doesn't have any shame about it. She's just like, what an odd thing to say. Moving on.
She does not care. It does not stop
No.
her one bit.
Right. So at the end of this scene, Isolde tells us internally, quote, as much as we were fighting for dominance, he's given me the one thing I've been searching for. Pleasure. So the next morning, as they're kind of waking up, they get into a conversation about how they're on different sides of this divide between humans and vampires. Isolde has been taught that vampires were created as a curse upon humans, but Adrian tells her that it's not so black and white. He implies that Isolde's father has just as much blood on his hands than Adrian does. He goes on to tell her that they'll be traveling back to his home country and then they will continue to conquer the rest of the world. He reminds her again that he wants a queen to sit by his side. And when she asks whether this delay of going back to like his homeland before continuing to be conquering like will be a problem, he says, quote, the houses can plot all they want. I am inevitable.
I really like the undercurrent of the political drama we get here because we get some of that fun conversation of like, no one's really innocent. Like, we're not sent here to destroy you. And maybe he is going to be a better ruler than
Yeah.
the Nine Kings.
And maybe the things that you've been taught are not the whole truth. Like,
Yeah.
there's some gray area here.
Exactly.
So Adrian leaves and Isolde goes about saying her goodbyes. She starts with Nadia and tells Nadia that she stabbed Adrian and he healed almost immediately, so she doesn't really know how to kill him. Nadia implies that everybody heard how much fun Isolde was having on her wedding night and leaves her with the thought that, quote, the Blood King has a weakness. You must find it. Again, no pressure, girl.
I know, right? That would be really awkward, though. Like, everyone's expecting you to kill him, and instead they just see you the next day, like, covered in hickeys after hearing you have sex all night. Like,
Yeah.
girl, that was not the mission.
Right? You missed the point.
Grossly misunderstood what we wanted.
Right. But it's also like, okay, would you have preferred her to be raped? Like, what?
Right. What do you want? Like, also, killing him doesn't get rid of all the vampires. So, like, what's really
Right.
the plan here? You guys
Come
are just
on.
mad now.
Right. And if she was smart, or if any of these people were smart, they would wait until she's coronated as the queen and then kill him, because then she legally has the right to rule.
Yeah, but they're all dumb and prideful and prejudiced.
That's the thing. So Isolde starts to think about why she's so conflicted about planning the downfall of this man, because on paper, that's what she should want. But internally, she's realizing that he is one of the only people with whom she feels she can be herself, completely unrestrained. When she sees her father, he tells her that there's a greater evil besides the Blood King, namely the magic that created him. He implies that because Adrian is a curse, curses can be broken.
If he's a curse.
If he's a curse. Then it's time to leave, and when she joins Adrian, he has a carriage waiting for her, but she's like, no, She explicitly says, carriages are targets, I'm riding a fucking horse. Like, you're not getting me in that thing. No, thank you.
She is, I love her as a character, as a protagonist. She's great. Also, we mentioned this a little bit in our debrief. We don't get a lot of clear description of her, but she is really curvy. She describes her body, and I appreciate that too.
Yeah, I guess this is like a good point to bring up. Like, we've talked about her mom, and her mom is described as being from the islands of this world. And she looks like her mom. We don't get a good physical description of her, which is like a minor bone for me to pick, but we do get a lot of fan art.
Yeah.
And in the fan art, she's depicted as a person of color, which I love. And she is a curvy person of color, which I also love.
Yeah.
Because she's not, like, one, that's not her entire personality. And two, she's still like more than capable of doing all of the things, like riding a horse and like being adept at like hand-to-hand combat and all of those things, while not looking like a stick.
Exactly. And I appreciate that. And she references, it's subtle, but she'll say things like, I'm not ashamed of my body. Like, I have round thighs and they're great.
They're
And I
great.
just think
They're
we need more
strong
of
and they
that.
make me move.
They make me move and I like it.
Yeah. So they get her a horse, and then she's introduced to Adrian's general, a man named Darroch, Daroc, which
I think it's
I just pronounce as Derek, but
I did too, because it was either Derek or Daroc, and I didn't like that.
No, it's not Daroc in my head.
Daroc
for sure.
Johnson. It's Derek.
Dwayne Daroc.
Dwayne Daroc. I did not. I can't. It's Derek.
It's Derek. So before they leave, they agree that her father should come visit when they're settled, and then they go. Isolde remarks, quote, when brides depart with her new husband, people gathered and offered small gifts, small things like flowers, polished stones, and gold and silver coins. For me, there was nothing, not even a crowd gathered within the high city. But when I turned my head from left to right, I saw people peeping through the windows and from behind their doors. It's clear that the people are still very afraid of her new husband and his army.
Which is fair, but I don't think she gets enough credit for like saving her whole land from war.
Oh, she gets zero credit. Like, she agrees to do this thing, and immediately people are like, well, you're dead to us, I guess.
Traitor.
Right.
But it was like, do this or war, which we would definitely lose.
Yes.
Why are you so mad?
Like, can we all just take a breath? Like, can you just see how it would be living under a conqueror and then, like, make a decision?
Yeah, exactly. And like, I'm still your queen,
Yeah.
which is what you wanted.
So as they travel, Isolde asks why there are scouts that keep, like, looking ahead. Since they're within her kingdom, they should be safe. But Adrian tells her that the other dark creatures out there are things that he does not control. They were created by the goddess Asha, who's the goddess of life. Isolde's confused, though, because Asha is supposed to be good, and she doesn't know why she would be in charge of creating such evil things. Ask a question.
I know, there's so many times I want to be like, yes, follow that thought. 30 more seconds.
Right.
Keep going.
A little later in the day, she speaks with Soren, and we learn that vampires can eat human food, but it usually doesn't agree with them, and they throw it up. We also learn that Soren and Derek are an item. Ooh.
Ooh. So, have you seen What We Do in the Shadows?
No, it's on my list to watch.
Okay, Liam and I have been watching it. We're in the last season. It's great. I think you would really like it. It's so silly. But it's about vampires, right? And like whenever they eat anything human, they like projectile vomit. Like it's ridiculous. And that's what I picture here. Because Soren seems to like to eat a lot of human food. And Miha and Isaac will say like he's just gonna throw it up later, and I just picture this like aggressive projectile vomiting like later behind the tents.
Like a geyser erupting from his mouth.
Yes. Yes.
That's really funny.
Highly recommend What We Do in the Shadows. Speaking of vampires.
Noted. So before they stop for the night, they're attacked by some of Isolde's country people, her subjects. She's horrified and tries to stop it, but it becomes clear that these people don't care if she's caught in the crossfire, so she joins in the battle. As she kills a woman who's trying to kill her, the woman tells her, quote, "If you were truly one of us, you would have killed him."
If it was that easy, he wouldn't exist.
Right. Yeah. Thankless comes to mind.
Yes.
And Adrian agrees, because afterward he tells Isolde, quote, "You think these are your people, but they are not. You will come to find that blood has no bearing on who you become."
I love that. I was going to say, I didn't mean to gloss over it, but Derek and Soren being a thing is one of my favorite underplots because they're really awkward together.
They're very awkward, and it's clear that they fight a lot.
Yeah, and I feel like Derek doesn't really like him, but he also loves him.
Yeah.
He's like ashamed
like,
of being a gay vampire or something.
Or like he's ashamed that he's not with somebody that's like more like him, because Soren's like very much a soft boy.
Yeah, but I feel like Soren is also the dom in their relationship.
Yeah, look, that becomes more apparent the further you go in.
It's great. I just wanted to articulate that.
So when they stop for the night, Isolde is still a little shell-shocked from everything. She briefly considers running away, but knows that Adrian will find her, and based on the fight earlier today, she's not quite sure where she would go anyway. When she and Adrian are alone, she rages at him, and he helps her through the emotions that she's feeling. At the end of the discussion, she tells him, quote, "I don't know there is much more that you can teach me, Adrian, except hate." And he agrees with her.
Aww. Also, I don't know if it becomes relevant because it seems like it's kind of fallen by the wayside, but I'm going to bring it up in case it's relevant. He can read her mind sometimes and other people's minds.
Yes.
I don't think we've referenced that yet. I feel like that matters.
You're right. We haven't. And I think it's referred to because like when she said like, "Hey, you pulled things from my mouth through magic," like it wasn't that he was making her say things that she didn't want to say. It was that he was reading her mind and like manipulating her into saying things, essentially, right? Like,
yeah,
and
like
that's
responding
the
to those
power that he
thoughts.
has. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they're very shady about magic or powers. Like they don't talk about it.
No, they don't talk about it. Like, and Soren and Miha and Isaac all have powers too, but they don't talk about what it is. And when they're asked bold-faced, like they won't say anything.
Yeah.
So farther along in their journey, they come upon a village behind a wall. The door to this wall is closed, but there's something too still about it. They call out to be let in, but nobody answers. So they send scouts over the wall, and when the door is open, they can see that everybody inside is dead. And then for some reason, Killian is there and tries to take Isolde away from Adrian. He accuses Adrian of being responsible for the death, but that's obviously not true. Adrian tells Isolde not to look and that he and his men will handle it. She then realizes that Killian's men should have been patrolling this area, and it's clear that they weren't if this was allowed to happen. Killian then throws in her face that she enjoyed her wedding night, and so she pulls rank and tells him, quote, "I am your queen, and you will address me as such."
Yes.
Adrian comes back and tells them, quote, "If you are finished trying to convince my bride to leave me, then I think it would be wise for you to inform your king of what has occurred here."
Why is Killian there at all?
I don't know. Like, we get this kind of one-line thing of like, oh, he and his men are supposed to be patrolling, but I like part of me is like, did you follow her?
Yeah, because if you were patrolling, you would know that the vampires weren't there.
Right. Like, it's so obvious that they didn't do. We just got here.
Yeah, it's like you're just trying to frame them for some reason. We know you don't like him. Okay, you need to let it go.
You gotta let it go. It's done. We're married. What? I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah, she bigged him. Goodbye.
Yeah. So we later learned that the people inside of this village died from magic. And the way that this manifests is that it looks like their skin has been burned off. We learned that the magic used... We learned that magic used to be more prevalent, but now it's kind of rare. And in this world, magic doesn't necessarily have to be cast locally. So anybody could have cast it from anywhere. Which is a horrifying thing to learn.
Yeah, and we kind of learn a little bit more about what they think happened here, and we learn more in that they have no idea. And since you can cast magic from anywhere, they're not even sure it's being like well done. Like it could just be some rando who found a spell and is like experimenting.
Exactly.
Which is terrifying.
Very much terrifying. So rather than bury these people, they have to burn them so they don't rise from the dead and become Striga, for example. Before they leave, they send one of Adrian's men back with Killian to the capital to be with Isolde's father because she increasingly does not trust anybody that is around her father. For good reason,
yeah, fair.
It seems.
Right, so if they think she's a traitor, I can only imagine how they look at the king who surrendered.
Correct. So they stop for camp, and in the middle of the night, Isolde wakes up alone. She goes wandering through the camp and sees through the flap of a tent Adrian taking blood from another woman who is naked and very pretty.
And having a great time.
Having a great time. When he comes back, she asks him if he fucked her, and he says no. But we learn this woman is a vassal. We learn that vassals are mortals who are essentially in service to vampires. They offer their blood in exchange for money, but it's all voluntary, right? Everything's consensual. Adrian tells Isolde that she's more than welcome to take his vassal's place, but she's revolted by the idea. She then asks if anybody's ever taken Adrian's blood, and he tells her no, because the only person who can drink my blood is my queen.
Who happens to be mortal.
And then they hate fuck.
This is the thing that continues to be a sticking point, is that she doesn't want to give him her blood. And I'm like, just do it. You're going to love it. Just do it.
It's going to be great.
Isolde, just do it.
Just do it.
So I can't wait for that to happen.
Oh my God.
Do
it's
it.
so good. It's so good.
Because it continues to be a problem. Okay. I would be sad if you would have told me if it was not fulfilling.
No. Yeah. I would have been like, I can't believe we have a vampire smut with no blood exchange. That would have been deeply dissatisfying.
I would have started this recording in a rage.
So as you might imagine, this scene between them is great. I mean, like, we haven't been super clear about why we love the smut in this book because we've covered Scarlett St. Clair books before. But to be clear, they are lengthy, they are specific, they are emotionally charged. Great. They're great.
And there's a lot of like foreplay and nuance. They don't just do the thing and then lights out. And I like that.
Very much. So the next day, the vassal introduces herself to Isolde, and we learn her name is Saphira. She tries to insinuate that she and Isolde are the same and that they both have equal footing with Adrian. But Isolde tells her, quote, "I was bred to be queen, just as I was bred to dispose of things that bother me. Will you continue to bother me, Saphira?"
We are not the same.
We are not the same. Oh my God. She has so many good one-liners like this, and I'm so proud. I'm not proud. I had nothing to do with it. I just love reading a female protagonist who is just so quick on her feet and like stands in her truth and doesn't take shit from anybody.
Exactly. And we see that really continue to come to fruition, that she takes no shit.
Yeah.
Like, I would not mess with her.
Mm-mm. So they cross over the border into Adrian's kingdom, and they walk through a forest that's completely barren. Isolde asked what happened there, and he tells her that 200 years ago, the coven who governed magic in Cordova was burned there. They were exploited by leaders who wanted them for their power. And it's clear as he's telling the story, Adrian was there personally. And when she asks who he was back then, he just tells her, quote, a different person.
Oh, I want to know about him. Because he's the first vampire, right? Like he's the one.
He's the dude. Yeah. Don't worry. We will understand what happened in this book.
Okay, great. Because I was getting worried since I think I only have 30% left. And I was like, but I have so many unanswered questions. I know it's a series, but I want to know now.
Yeah. So they stop for camp again, and this time Isolde sits with Soren and some of the others. They tell her about what bloodletting, blood taking actually means, and they say, quote, granting Adrian access to your blood is the highest show of trust. They talk about how this process forms a bond between the vampire and the person giving their blood.
Yeah, and that when they're mated, they usually only take blood from each other. Like they don't need a mortal necessarily. So like Soren and Derek like just feed on each other.
Yeah. And I really like that. We don't get more information about how that particularly works, but I hope we do because I like that.
Yeah, I hope we do too because I really like that idea.
Mm-hmm. So Adrian comes upon them during this conversation, and when he takes Isolde back to their tent, he tells her that he wanted to be the one to talk to her about this. It's clear in this conversation that Isolde is still jealous of Saphira, and he tells her, look, I've never fucked this person. And again, if you want her out of the picture, I could drink from you and we wouldn't have this problem. I would have no use for her.
Exactly. And she's like, girl, I gotta eat. So
I gotta eat. Yeah. And she's like, that's fine. It's not going to be from me and it's not going to be from her. Find someone else. And he's like, fine.
I don't know. So this comes back later. I don't know if it's in this part or not, but like she says, find somebody else. I don't know why she thinks that's going to solve the problem of her jealousy.
I don't either. Like, I get it from the sexual perspective of like, yeah, Saphira clearly thinks that she has a thing going on with Adrian. And like, I would be like, okay, she's banished forever.
Goodbye.
Drink from a dude, like, or something like that.
Yeah.
But
I know this isn't in this part. I'm looking ahead. Okay, I'm going to say it to you now, but then you can keep it or cut it out. But when she goes like dance with that random guy at the ball, I thought she was going to like bring that like random young mortal to Adrian and be like, I got you this. Yeah. This is yours now. Feed from him.
Found this. That would have been really fucking funny.
That's what I thought. That's where I thought that was going. And I was honestly a little disappointed that that's not what happened.
Alas.
Alas and alack.
But I take your point that like, I don't know why she thinks that just having Adrian like dismiss Saphira as his vassal is going to solve the problem of Saphira. Like, because Saphira is still a problem. She self-identifies as a problem.
Oh, yeah. And like she didn't ask him to like banish her, just to not feed exclusively from her.
Right.
And then the other vassals are problems too. So that's why I'm like, girl, this is not the answer. You have the answer and you're going to like it. Just do it. You're going to like it. Just do it. Just do it. Yeah. Just do it.
Just do it. So they continue to travel and they come into another village that's been attacked by the same magic as before. As they walk through the town, Isolde sees a little girl and she thinks that it's a survivor. So this girl runs from her and Isolde's like, oh, she's probably just scared. So she follows her into a shop where this girl is cornered. Isolde tries to help her, and as she's trying to do this, this little girl transforms into a monster version of herself with jagged teeth and horribly bent limbs and tries to attack Isolde.
So yeah. She's so scary.
Duroc
Johnson.
Duroc Johnson. Derek comes to her rescue, and it's clear that this little girl was possessed by the magic that killed everybody else, and so they determined to take her dead body back to the palace for an autopsy.
It's dark in here.
Yeah. In the tussle, Isolde was injured, and the healer that they have with her can't fully heal it, so they make haste to the Red City, which is where Adrian's throne is. She rides with Adrian because he knows that the pain of her injury will get worse, and she'll not be able to ride by herself. When they get to the Red Palace, they're met by a gentleman named Tanaka, who's Adrian's viceroy, and probably the oldest looking vampire she's ever seen. Poor Tanaka.
Tanaka, because like Adrian's the oldest vampire. Tanaka just must have been ancient when he was turned.
Yeah, Tanaka was just an 80-year-old man who got turned into a vampire. Like, give him some room.
Exactly. Poor Tanaka.
Adrian sends for a woman named Anna, who's a more powerful healer, so she can be well enough to attend the ball that night, which is a celebration of their return and of their marriage. Before he leaves, and before Anna gets there, Adrian and Isolde have a back and forth about how they are enemies and how Isolde blames him for being a monster. He tells her that at least he knows what he is and asks whether she can say the same. And this shuts Isolde up because she has so many conflicting feelings. She's no longer confident who she really is or what she believes anymore after this journey. So Adrian says, look, I have things to do, and you are welcome to go anywhere in the castle that you want, but not alone. He says, quote, you will find that those who reside here are not as easily restrained, and I'd hate to have to murder my counsel for turning you before I have the chance.
He's planning to turn her.
I know. This is I want to say second or third time that they've talked about turning her, and I'm just like, do it. I want to see it.
I want to see it. I want to see it happen. And I want her to want it.
I want you to want to become a vampire.
Yeah. I need it.
I need it. So that is where we're going to end our coverage of part 1. And buckle up for part 2, because I feel like a lot happens. Because I'm remembering like how far we have to go. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm maybe 3 or 4 chapters past this, and this book isn't that long, so I have a lot of questions that it set up for me.
Yeah,
and I need answers. I demand answers.
I get it. So join us in 2 weeks for the stunning conclusion of A King of Battle and Blood. But those are our thoughts on part 1. Thank you, as always, for joining us on this journey. What did you think? You can find us on the socials at Spice Traders Pod on TikTok, YouTube, and Goodreads. And if you like our podcast and want more, consider becoming a patron, where we release Patreon exclusive episodes on our off weeks. And if you really, really like us, drop us a review wherever you listen. But until next time, we'll see ya. Bye.
Bye.